Hello everyone and welcome to game 3 in a series between BLY versus BeastyQT here on Belshire Beach Winter Edition. Apparently it does snow at Belshire Beach and somehow the lakes all freeze over, or I guess it's not really technically frozen, but we'll see what happens in this particular matchup and this particular game. Now BLY and BeastyQT, each of them have taken one game apiece. So in game 1, BLY really looked absolutely dominating, completely trapped BeastyQT in a number of Baneling landmines. But BeastyQT coming back with a vengeance in game 2 of this series to now tie things up at one game each. We'll see what the strategies will be involved at the start of the series here, as we now see an Overlord slowly flying out and making its way across the map. Now, BLY4E, or I keep on calling him BLY4EG. BLY should be able to set up this natural expansion pretty easily. There is two entranceways, one here, and also, actually no, there's only one entranceway into the natural expansion. All right, so I guess that is one of the differences in this particular version of Belshire Beach. There is actually not two ramps, only one, unless I am thinking about a different version of Belshire Beach. As this game does get underway, a barracks has been established over here, sealing off this front door. No gas has been harvested yet by BeastyQT, so he looks like he will be going for a fast command center after this barracks, and he should be able to get that up and running with the help of the orbital command, which he should be upgrading in just a moment. Now, a fast hatchery has been placed down by BLY. BLY looking to get a stronger economic lead as well, opting to go for, I believe it was a 15 hatch. So a 15 hatch coming in, or a 16 hatch, as this game does get underway. And now there is a bit of a harassment here. The SCV is going to be forced to do a bit of scouting. The supply depot will take some damage. A Marine will pop out in just a moment, dealing some damage back, as the SCV now going to start and scout. Orbital command is halfway done, as we now see a command center being built off down over here. A Marine making its way out, trying to see if there is a drone anywhere on the map. Doesn't see the drone. The Marine just making its rounds. There is going to be an Overlord. Will he spot that Overlord? No, he kind of does. The Marine now trying to shoot it down. The Overlord just going to hug along that backside there. And there, it looks like there's going to be plenty of room in between the cliff for that Overlord to get in some decent scouting information. SCV does spot the hatchery now spawning pool, not yet done. No Zergling swarm anytime in the next 20 seconds or so, but we are getting into a one refinery, or a double refinery build now from BeastyQT. So he is catching up. He is getting a fair amount of gas, as we now see a bunker being established on the front door. So a bunker on this front door here, meaning that Zerglings will not be able to put pressure anytime soon. But roaches may try to push here. We can see that this hatchery has not yet been used as a macro hatch or a full base as of yet. We are getting into one queen, and only one queen. So BLY sacrificing a bit of his economy and his production, going for that early roach warren, and we may see some 6 roach pressure. The Overlord down to 19 hit points. It looks like it will be able to make it over there. The command center, orbital command. Does BLY spot it? No, BLY does not spot this orbital command just quite yet. A Marine is sitting there waiting for the Overlord. The Overlord isn't going to move at all, as there is now one Marine inside that bunker. 3 roaches now being trained. There is that second queen being built at that second hatchery. Marines jumping inside. BeastyQT looking to perhaps build a really strong natural defense, but BLY with a much larger economic or food advantage now, sitting at 36 over 36. He is a bit supply locked, as we now see the Overlord has not spotted. Oh no, he does spot that orbital command now flying across the gap. It will be landing here in just a moment. And now SCV's already being transferred over. A round of drones quickly done by BLY, knowing that, hey, if you are setting up a natural expansion, that means no attacks are coming in anytime soon. The Hellions may try to engage here, maybe get some damage onto some Zerglings. There are 3 roaches. Do the roaches spot this bunker? Yes, they do. The Marines are inside. SCVs may try to repair, and now trying to make their way in. One Hellion now down. A second Hellion may get taken out as well, as the roaches were able to simply walk inside this base. This is not good news at all. BeastyQT is in trouble. No Marauders, the 3 Roaches, and 2 Zerglings going to cause problems here as we are now going into Banshees. So we are now going into Banshees. We are getting Cloak. The Roaches are fighting this all back. The Marines now trying to make their way over. Zerglings inside the mineral line. SCVs getting taken down. The Marines focusing down 1 Roach at a time, and it looks like this harassment will get handled, but not before a couple more workers have been killed. 8 workers total have been lost. That coupled with BLY's very, very heavy drone count, or droning, it should put him in a very nice stage at the middle portion of this game. Currently sitting at 42 harvesters, so he has 40 harvesters and 2 queens, and that is it. But now going into a macro hatch and trying to build an evolution chamber as well, making a little bit of SimCity choke point here, and perhaps going to try to capture some of those units. Hellions sitting at the 3rd base, doesn't see anything at all, but we are going into 1 Banshee in the air. 1 Banshee, 2nd Banshee underway. Is Cloak completed? I am not sure. Is Cloak completed? No, Cloak is not completed, as the Queen now going to battle it out against the Banshee. The Banshee is going to be forced to retreat, but this is not a good move by BeastyQT, revealing that he is going for Banshees. But then again, the Roaches did spot this earlier. Factory now being added. We may see another tech switch now going very heavy into a factory play. So we are now getting 3 factories now. We'll see what comes of that, as the Banshee is revealing up onto the high ground, perhaps getting some damage onto an easy hatchery here. The hatchery will just continue to grow with no real issue whatsoever, as there is an Overlord in the center portion of the map. Hellions down here, Banshees in the air. BLY looking to perhaps do a bit of a defense here, as he only has 2 queens. The Banshees are engaging. The Banshees cannot fight up against those queens. The Queen will win in a one-on-one battle, as the Banshees now make their way to the main base, fighting back, and now going to be forced to retreat once more. This is not good news. They need to retreat. The Banshees have been very, very heavily invested in, but no real damage has been dealt. BeastyQT at 34 SCVs. No, sorry, BeastyQT at 34 SCVs versus 50 drones. There are a lot of Hellions on the front door, and the Hellions could easily get some damage onto those Zerglings now, taking down a creep tumor, and now you can see those Zerglings are running around the map, perhaps going to make their way into the main base. The Hellions are still being trained. We are going into very, very heavy Thor play. So heavy Thor play. Just a large group of Zerglings hiding off over here. Is BeastyQT going to scout them? He does get a little bit of a glimpse of them, and now the Zerglings are back, perhaps going to try to run in through this front door. There are 2 Hellions here. SCVs have come over to repair. The Zerglings leaving units at the Zelnaga Tower. Oh, and a drone does get torched right as it tries to grow up and be a hatchery. No luck there, as the Queen's now coming in, and Roach is coming in as well. So the Hellions now backing off. Zerglings now retreating home, as both players, I guess, a little confused at what they want to do. We are going into a Raven as well. The Raven, a little bit of a curious move. Perhaps he wants to be able to destroy and take down creep tumors. No real reason why he's going for that just quite yet, but we do see a Spire coming into play, and that Spire is going to create Mutalisks, and now those Banshees will be taken out. Oh, nope. We are already at Hive Tech, and now going into a Greater Spire. Level 1 vehicle upgrades now being added. Level 2 claw attack upgrades now being added, as well as the Queens are now making their way out. Banshees are going to dish it out, but there are simply too many Queens, too much transfusion going down, as the Hellions are now backing off once more. You can see that the Banshees could easily get some damage here on this hatchery. The creep tumors are not quite far enough. Those backlash rockets dealing a lot of damage here, but is it going to grow? Is the hatchery going to be able to complete in time? There are a lot of Queens, and now the hatchery is down to 163 hit points, able to come back, but the Banshees should be able to at least clean up this base. No, for some reason, not going to try to clean up that base. That should be an easy base to take at this point, as Hellions are now rushing over here. BLY getting very, very cute, trying to expand at 3 places at once. Zerglings now making their way over, as now the Banshees should clean up this hatchery over here. We'll see if it gets canceled in time. No, Corruptors are going to be able to make their way over. No need for cancellation at all. And with 6 Corruptors in the air, BeastyQT may be wondering why exactly he's going for Corruptors this early in the game. Are we going to perhaps see a swap? Yes, we are going to see a swap. Now adding in another starport here. Going to build a reactor. He knows that he definitely needs to get some Vikings in order to combat those Corruptors and eventual Broodlords, as Hellions now retreat and run all the way back home. Now, we'll see where all of this will be going in just a moment. BeastyQT does have an orbital command trying to establish his third, but he's going to be behind BLY, as BLY is currently establishing his fifth base. One Raven, one Banshee, two Hellions. The Corruptors are coming over. This is looking really bad. Very expensive units in the center. BeastyQT doesn't drop a point defense drone in time, losing all of those units there. And that was a very heavy hit. Triple Vikings now being added. We'll see how much damage is dealt as the Thors are now making their way across the map. There are a lot of Roaches being added as well. The Roaches getting torched here. Siege tanks now may make their way forward, as those siege tanks are going to counter the Roaches. And then the Thors are going to counter the sheer number of queens, but there hasn't been, or there are pretty much no more Banshees. We are going into Broodlords now. 4 Broodlords being added. Thor's siege tanks will siege up, now trying to dish out against those Broodlord cocoons. What's going to be happening? The siege tanks will destroy the hatchery in just a second, as Hellions now making their way off to this base over here, trying to stop the gas. And now we see Roaches are engaging. Corruptors now coming in, and we'll see what or how much damage will be dealt, as the Broodlords are still trying to be trained. You can see that there are some Vikings over here. They are not engaging in this group. Not quite sure why, as the Vikings need to be part of this attack force. Otherwise, those Broodlords are simply going to attack, move straight into it. 146 versus 135. Both sides, slight harvester advantage for Terran. But there is a base advantage now for BLY. But BLY isn't mining at this base or this base either. Only getting gas, or at some points getting gas. So BLY may end up falling behind here. Broodlords did drop a lot of Broodlings here. The Broodlings are upgraded 2-0. That's going to be an issue, as we now see there are 6 Vikings in the air. Corruptors do win in a one-on-one fight, even without corruption, just because of their additional hit points. 200 hit points versus 125. And also the fact that they have double armor. There's a fungal growth preventing any more Hellion harassment here, but there wasn't that many drones either. 155 now compared to 146. Harvester count 67 versus 62. A new command center being established, waiting for the next engagement, as a Thor simply getting torn apart there. The Vikings are now perhaps hunting, and will they find their target is the key question. The Corruptors had taken down that Raven earlier, and now in come the Vikings. One volley, one already down. This Thor needs to be very careful. Friendly fire taking it down, as well as the Broodlords continuing to fight Zerglings. No more Hellions, or Hellions are back over here. Is it going to be enough to finish off the units? Vikings now trying to finish off the Broodlords. Infested Terrans underneath the Vikings, and BeastyQT losing all of his Vikings, and now 4 Broodlords are pretty much going to go unanswered, as there's only 3 Vikings left. Infested Terrans are making their way over, but Corruptors are there as well. Broodlords still causing problems, as the siege tanks are now getting taken apart. Vikings once again trying to make another move. Will it be enough? There's a fungal growth, and more units will get taken down. BeastyQT now down to 98 food. You can see a swarm of Lings coming back from the main base. SCVs are trying to hide, as the Corruptors could now easily take down the orbital command. I believe the last Broodlord, or more Broodlords, have been taken down. Only 3 are left in the air. Orbital command down to 500 hit points. It will get destroyed here in just a moment, but the Infestors are all getting destroyed, as well as that siege tank on the high ground dealing a lot of damage. SCVs now looking to repair. It looks like they will keep these units alive, as BLY now has taken the opportunity. No, he has not yet transferred any drones. Harvester count 64 to 60. Where are all of those drones? It looks like they were taking a vacation in the main base, not doing any mining, as the income is now even for both players. But once these drones do get back at the third base, BLY should be able to replenish his forces much more quickly. Now, Engineering Bay, no weapons upgrade at all, just 4 missile turrets. Currently a lot of Vikings in the air, currently up to 8. 3 more Vikings in production. Ghosts being added as well. This Overlord by BLY still sitting off in a nice position, as the Hellions have dealt some damage now. Finishing off, there's a fungal growth. Some infested Terrans gonna have a very bad day, as the swarm eggs finish off those Hellions now. Corruptors still looking around the map, perhaps trying to control where things are going to go. SCVs are once again making their way down over here. They're going to have a bit of long distance mining. Mass Hellions, SCVs simply going to surround that one Roach. There it goes now. And now we should have a landing of the orbital command and perhaps trying to establish this base off over here as well. 124 versus 164. New Broodlords being added to the group. 59 SCVs, 58 drones. And now trying to re-establish that gas. Currently sitting on 12 or 14 Vikings. So the Vikings versus the Corruptors are going to be that key engagement. The Queens may pretty much go unanswered, but there's a lot of energy, and now in comes the Infestors as well. This is going to be a bad engagement here. You can see that there are plenty of Vikings. Siege tanks are up on the high ground. They perhaps need to make their way down as the Zergings are now going to swarm in. The Hellions need to engage first, perhaps trying to take down some of those units. Vikings are getting some fungal growth as the Hellions are finishing off all of those Zerglings there, but a fungal growth hitting them all. So the Vikings are now falling apart. Siege tanks getting destroyed. The Vikings need to go after the Broodlords. The Broodlords are getting taken down one at a time, but they are getting transfused as well. And there's the GG. So BeastyQT losing Game 3 here on Belshire Beach. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 3 in the series. Stay tuned for Game 4.